let's talk about the Cavaliers, Mike.
Yeah, I don't know how much. I mean, it's significantly lighter considering the stakes of what we just talked about, but was not a good performance from Cleveland yesterday. They found themselves down 18 points again in the first quarter. They claw all their way back, tie the game at 93, and then Detroit goes on an 8-0 run immediately afterwards, and they end up winning game one, 111-101. The Cavs committed 20 turnovers in the game, which led to 31 points for the Detroit Pistons. And when you look at this in totality, you're not going to win if you commit 20 turnovers, you lose the free throw battle by 19, and you only win the three-point battle by 4 made three-pointers. It is a recipe for disaster, and the Cavs find themselves down 1-0 in the Eastern Conference semifinals to Detroit.
Go ahead, guys. Dustin, you want to
start? Well, I mean, listen, it was obviously the turnovers were tough to watch. The game was tough to watch, especially early on. I was actually really tired last night. I kind of passed out on the couch until literally my wife wakes me up. She goes, "Hey, they just tied it up, 93 all." I'm like, "All right, sweet, 8-0 run."
Yeah.
But it was it was a tough game to watch. But I felt like, honestly, I came away with it thinking we were down 18. It's on the road. This is the number 1 seed, and we still had the game tied with 4 to go. I'm looking like silver lining, not like doom and gloom like everybody else. I was listening to the morning show, on delay when I was driving in, and some of the stuff they were talking about this morning, it just seemed so negative about the performance. I get it. James Harden has turned the ball over like crazy. It's not good. But with that being said, they had a chance to win that game and steal game 1 last night. So that's my little glass half full perspective on the way the Cavs have played so far.
Yeah, I don't think it's bleak. It's disappointing.
Yeah, sure.
The road woes are real. The turnover woes are real.
Yeah.
And Detroit is better than Toronto. So when Detroit gets easy baskets, it's going to be hard to overcome. So they did make a nice run. Some guys stepped up, and Harden had an absolute disaster middle 2 quarters, and was part of them coming back in the fourth. So, look, they're inside. They got killed. Jalen Duren didn't score a ton of points, but he is a mountain of a human being, and he was a factor. Duncan Robinson got way too many open looks.
Yeah.
And then you compound the turnovers, and that's how you lose the game. So, cleaning up the turnovers, having Strus continue to hit shots.
Yeah.
It comes down to Harden and Mitchell have to be better, and you have to. The fouls with Jared Allen, he just didn't play a ton.
Yeah.
But Jalen Duren is going to be a real problem.
And just to make a point before you give your take, Bull, on the game, but the Jared Allen situation, unfortunate that he gets in foul trouble, but this is Jared Allen. It's not Donovan Mitchell. He doesn't have to be on the bench this long. They treat him like he's this superstar. It's okay, if he had 5 fouls in the second quarter, I'd still be if he fouls out, he fouls out. What's the big deal? We could have used him. I think his ass was on the bench for way too long.
Yeah. I agree. A couple of things. First of all, you mentioned Duren didn't score much, but he scored when it mattered. Absolutely. You're right. When it was 90, was it 93, 93?
93, and then he had
3 straight trips down the floor. It was Cunningham to Duren for a dunk. 3 straight trips. And so that was huge. That turned the game around back because the Pistons were probably sweating there a little bit because the Cavs had made that great run. And so that was an issue. Obviously, Jared Allen being in foul trouble. I don't even understand. In the fourth quarter, the Pistons took Cunningham out of the game, coming off timeout for a minute or whatever. And Donovan was out of the game. And I'm like, okay, as soon as Cunningham comes back, they're going to bring Donovan back. And if anything, Donovan should have been in anyway because the Cavs were losing. But Donovan stayed out longer. Jared Allen was out then. I didn't understand what the substitution patterns were. They had some weird things that he was doing. I don't understand.
It wasn't a great game for Kenny.
No, I don't know what he was doing. But Zach, you said it. The bottom line is the superstars got to play like superstars. And James Harden and Donovan Mitchell have not been good enough. They were going on and on. I love Noah Eagle, but they're going on and on in the first quarter about Donovan Mitchell and game 1s. And I don't give a rat's patootie. He had a great first quarter. He did nothing after that. He disappeared after the What did he have, 14 in the first quarter?
He did.
He ended up with 23 for the game of his 19 field goal attempts.
Yeah.
And Steve, now if you want to take the Donovan highlights, I'll talk over these. He took 19 shots. Only 1, according to NBA's tracking data, was at the rim, which means he's settling for a lot of jump shots, a lot of mid-range shots. In 8 playoff games this season, guys, 8 playoff games, Donovan has 18 free throw attempts, less than 3 per game.
Yeah.
The Cavs need Donovan, and the Cavs are at their best when Donovan is getting all the way to the rim, forcing the defense to collapse, and then he's able to use his ability as a playmaker to kick out. or to finish. But in the playoffs, for whatever reason, and he told us all regular season, and you know what? I'm a big fan of Donovan Mitchell, but he told us, saving my body so I can go do this stuff in the playoffs. He hasn't done that yet.
And if you look at first of all, last 3 games, Harden and Donovan are shooting under 30% each from 3. I mean, that's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. They've both been absolutely terrible from 3. The 2 of them in the playoffs, I think between them, I'll probably be off by a little bit, but they roughly have like 45 assists and 40 turnovers between them in the playoffs. Roughly, give or take 1 or 2.
I'll look that up for you.
They're almost even. There's slightly more assists. That's ridiculous. There's no excuse for that. Donovan's only averaging like, I think, 23 a game in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, he's got to be. Yeah, I mean, what's going on? He's got to play better.
And he complained about not getting to the free throw line after the game.
I don't want to hear the whining about the free throws.
No,
not from you. I'm saying.
No, I'm. You're mad about it. I'm mad about it too.
Yeah.
But I'm also mad because he's not going to the bucket. So, you're not getting the calls. Well, part of the reason you're not getting the calls is because you're not getting the opportunities.
Yeah.
So, take it to the rack a little bit more, and then maybe you'll get to the free throw line a couple more times.
A lot of fans last night when I went on were complaining about the free throw disparity. Well, the Pistons go to the bucket on almost every play.
Time. You can't stop them.
And we didn't. I mean, Donovan hasn't, and Jared Allen barely played, so...
The third quarter, the Pistons picked up a couple of early fouls as the Cavs started to make a push, which you expected and you hoped, but they didn't capitalize. You got to get there. And it does end up being a huge free throw disparity, but to me, that's not something to whine about. That's something to circle and say this was clearly the more aggressive team. Cade Cunningham is bigger and stronger. He gets to the line. That's his game. Thompson can't make a jump shot to save his life, so what does he do? He goes to the bucket.
Yeah. That's it. And Cade Cunningham didn't even shoot well. I think he was like 6 for 18 or something.
No, it was not
a 5 of 16. The Cavs did a really good job on Cade. Yeah, the Cavs did a good job on Cade until late. I had a bit of an issue with how the Cavs guarded the pick and roll. They went into this deep drop. Steve, you go to the bottom 3 clips, very bottom 3. You can play these back-to-back, 609, 610, 611. They basically went – we talked about drop coverage enough all season.
Yeah.
Cade Cunningham's too good of a player. Steve just play these back-to-back-to-back. Watch how they're playing so deep on these drops against Cade Cunningham and just allowing him to step into some of these open shots. And granted – they did a good job on Cade in totality, but late in the game in this third one, Steve, go to the very bottom one, drop coverage 3. This was the 93-93 possession. Look how far Jared Allen's playing back. He's in no man's land.
Yeah, that's terrible.
It's just letting Cade get a head of steam going downhill.
Right.
And he's now in the advantageous position to read the defense. And compare that to how Orlando guarded them last series. Granted, Orlando has much more size on the perimeter and the wing, so they're not getting caught in these size deficiency mismatches. They switched everything and said, if you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us from the perimeter, not when you're 8 feet from the basket and have 6 or 7 different options.
I mean, those were such easy baskets for Duren at the end. I mean, he got such – nobody was even near him. It was just like left alone. So but the bottom line is, you're right, the Cavs, they have opportunity. Donovan and James are just missing shots. And if they keep missing shots at the clip they are, they're going to lose this series.
Well, with James, worse than missing shots is just turning the ball over.
Oh, my God.
The basket.
And
it's
some
going
of
to
his
happen,
passes.
right? He has the ball. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But when he's going to turn it over, it has to be when he's in there creating. He can't just get his pocket picked repeatedly 30 feet from the bucket because then it's 2-on-0. You have no chance to get it.
I heard Danny Cunningham on with the guys, and he does a good job. He went back and said he watched every turnover from last night, all 20. And he says 8 of them were unforced.
Yes.
Like unforced turnovers.
Yeah, like lazy plays.
Just lost the ball. Can't dribble off the foot.
I mean, how do you have 8 of those? That's just crazy.
And these are Harden. Steve, just let this play out.
These are all Hardens?
These are just, I clipped Hardens together.
Good stuff.
I counted 5 of the 7 Harden turnovers, just unforced. That's just
unforced.
What is he
dribbled
doing?
off his foot. That looked like a clip if we were watching point shaving documentary.
You're right.
Didn't it?
You're right. I mean, it's just crazy. And I don't want to hear excuses about injuries. People were saying that with Donovan and James.
Dang, man.
There's no excuses. Play better.
Well, I wonder what, Donovan's legs, I worry. The Pistons just played 7 games.
Yeah.
But you're right. You're not seeing the aggression. You're not seeing him go in there fearlessly, at least not repeatedly, and do it. So I do wonder if something's physical with Donovan because this is not just, game 3 in Toronto. Got their best shot. Okay, there was one moment here. We've seen a pattern here now.
Yes.
We're into the playoffs. They're at a crucial moment, and he's not attacking the basket.
No, he and Harden seem to have a harder time scoring than we've ever seen with them. And if that doesn't change, they're going to lose the series. It's that simple. I mean, the Pistons play old school basketball, right? Yeah. They beat you up. They're physical. I like that the refs are letting them play to some degree. I like the physical play. But
Jalen Duren was just such a factor. I think he had one bucket with 10 minutes to go. But there's a sequence. The Cavs have a 3-on-1. He gets back. He blocks the shot.
Yeah.
Then a couple possessions later, the Pistons miss a free throw, offensive rebound by Jalen Duren, wide open, Duncan Robinson.
Yeah.
Momentum right back in the home team's favor. I mean, he's just humongous. He's all over the place. I agree, Dustin. Yeah. Probably should have put Allen back in.
Yeah.
Just to see, even if it's only for a couple of minutes.
Because what did he play, like 5 minutes in the first half?
Yeah, about halfway through the first quarter, he was out with the 3 fouls, and he wasn't seen again until the third.
Okay, if he had 4, maybe I get it. But like 3, I don't know. Like he could have easily gotten to 4 fouls in the first half, and I would have been like, okay, it's fine. Like it's Jarrett Allen.
Yeah.
He's gonna play. He plays like 22 minutes a game anyway, roughly, something like that. So like, what's the big deal?
Yeah. And I mean, Max Strus was really the only one that played well yesterday.
He is playing his tail off right now.
He played great.
I mean, I love his energy. He's such an overachiever.
Yeah.
He knocked down his shots last night. I mean, Strus is, you're seeing why he's here. And like, he's got playoff experience. Like, he's a tremendous competitor.
I mean, in 3 of the last 4 games, the Cavs' best player has been Max Strus, Jarrett Allen, and Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can't have that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great that those guys have had those games, but stars have to be stars in the playoffs. James Harden has long had a reputation for shrinking when it matters, and he's done it again so far this year. We'll see if he can turn it around.
Couple other things real quick on the Jarrett Allen.
Yeah.
Should have played him more in the second half. Allen played 12 minutes. In those 12 minutes, he only picked up 1 foul, so he ended the game with 4 fouls.
Yeah.
The Cavs were plus 10 in those 12 minutes. When he was on the court in the second half, the Cavs were much better than this pedestrian stat line looks, and foul trouble played a big role in that. But it is what it is. He just had a 22-19 in Game 7. He had a tour date, a February 3rd concert date in Game 1 last night. Need more from Jarrett Allen. In terms of the turnovers, just be a little smarter with the basketball. Be a little more intentional. And the Cavs have now dug themselves into double-digit deficits in the first half in their last 4 playoff games.
Yeah.
18 points in Game 1. They were down 13 points in Game 7. They were down 12 points in Game 6. And they were down, I think it was 12 points in Game 5. Whatever it is.
And they still managed to win 2 of those games.
And they're 2-2.
Yeah.
But against good teams, on the road, against the competition that gets harder and harder, you can't keep starting out that far behind and then having to claw your way back in, because everything has to go right for you to erase an 18-point deficit. Right. And they did. And that was the end of the rope.
Right, because they ran out of gas for those last 5 minutes.
They ran out of gas, and then Detroit was able to go on an 8-0 run right after, end up winning the game relatively easily. But big picture, I do think a lot of the mistakes the Cavs made are correctable. And 20 turnovers that lead to 31 points in transition for Detroit, you do that, you're losing every game. You're not going to win a single game against Detroit if they're scoring 31 points in transition. Luckily, when you look at some of these turnovers, it's James Harden dribbling off his foot. You have to imagine he'll be better in Game 2. Donovan, I keep saying, has to play better.
Why do I have to imagine? I mean, James Harden, when's the last game he played well? And he, by the way, give him a little credit. He did score in the fourth quarter when they made that run. Like, there was a stretch where I think he had 9 points in a row.
Yeah, he had 9 points. But he played well against Toronto, even if the numbers didn't show, because he was controlling the offense and orchestrating so much against that chaotic defense. Did not think he played well in Game 1, but I also think he dribbled off his foot like 6 times.
Yeah. That's it, guys. He's playing fine offensively. Like, he scores 9-0 run you talked about last night, but dude, the turnovers they're unforced. Just cut those in half, and we probably win the game last night.
I mean, he's still got to play better offensively. What's he averaging per game in the playoffs, Mike?
20.3 points per game.
That's not good enough.
And he's averaging more than 5 turnovers a game over the course of 8 playoff games. So it's
and boy, you asked that number for the totality, Donovan and Harden. They have 73 assists to 65 turnovers.
Yeah, that's terrible.
That's not going to cut it.
No. Yeah, the assists are low too. No. Good point.
Like I said, these guys handle the ball. These guys create. You're going to turn the ball over.
Sure.
Yeah. But more than 5 a game. And
I get it if somebody's got their hands on you or gets their hand on the basketball, but if it's just you dribbling off your foot or just you can't corral the ball in your hands, like you're a point guard. You should be able to do that. If
I would have told you Donovan and James were averaging 44 between them a game, I wouldn't even have thought they would have won the first round. I mean, they got to be averaging like at least in the mid-50s. I think.
You need your stars to win in the playoffs, and so far the Cavs stars
they've both been
good
huge disappointments so far in the postseason. Hopefully they could turn it around.
We just talked about this the other day, guys. I mean, Mike, you brought up the stat about like isn't Harden about to be like the all-time free throw leader ever in like NBA history?
Yeah.
Or like whatever he is.
He's third all time.
Okay, so if we're not making our shots,
Yeah.
we got to get to the line.
Yeah.
So that means Donovan's got to attack. Harden's got to do a better job attacking, and when he does attack, like he's got to make sure he gets fouled.
Yeah.
So many times I feel like Harden, he drives and he doesn't really get the contact,
Yeah.
and then he complains, and it's like
He's
then
always
all,
looking- yeah.
then all of a sudden when you're complaining, they get a run out.
Right, I know. That's a good point.
So-
He's always complaining. Every time he doesn't get the foul called,
That's right.
he complains.